Welcome to our series about the human design gates. And today you're going to get to learn about the gate 8. And the gate 8 is known as contribution in traditional human design or fulfillment in quantum human design. And you're going to get to learn in depth about the gate 8 because what follows is a compilation of excerpts that are pulled from my transit reports over the last few years, where I go in depth about each one of the gates. So you're going to learn a lot more from this than you would like from that simple definition I just gave you or from a book, for example. And if you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up and turn on your notifications so you'll find out every time that we release one of these videos, and leave a comment and let me know how it landed for you. I always love to hear from you. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get started. The gate 8, which, as I said, is on the throat center. And the 8 is known as contribution in traditional human design or fulfillment in quantum human design. I really think of this as, how we are bringing forth the insights, the wisdom, the divine inspiration, truly, that comes to us through the knowing circuit. And how are we bringing that out into what we're doing in the world? And so we're making our contribution, and when we're making our contribution in the way that is really aligned with who we are, then we can experience deep fulfillment. And it does connect to the G center through the 1. And it is this energy for how are you expressing yourself through the 1, and how are you contributing out through your purpose into the greater community. Now, this is individual circuitry, but it's about how you're giving to other people or to other causes or to the living world or to something outside of yourself, right? The 1 is more about the inside. It's more about the internal sense of, I'm on purpose. I'm expressing myself in a way that really lights me up and feeds me and makes the God within me dance. And then the 8 is about how we bring that out into the world. How do we express it out? Because that throat center, remember, is for expression, activation, articulation, manifestation, right? It's really about getting things going, getting things created, bringing things into form, and so on. So that 8 is asking you, it's like, where's your contribution right now? So let me just make a distinction here between purpose and contribution, which is something I talk about extensively in my book, Feminine Sovereignty. Its pillar number 5 is purpose and contribution. Purpose is on the G center, and it's very much about the self. It's very much about the identity. And the way I talk about purpose is really about how do we feel on purpose? What makes you feel on purpose? It's not like there's one thing that you do and you're like, okay, that's my life purpose. It's more about what is it that makes you feel on purpose, which a good indicator of that is if you have plenty of energy and if you have enthusiasm, right? Because enthusiasm is like, you're fully engaged. And so you want to be looking for that feeling. And ideally, your contribution is going to be related to your purpose somehow, because so that as you're making your contribution into the world, it could be through your work in the world, it could be through other things that you do, which aren't necessarily things that you do to make money. So your contribution could be, in a different sphere of the other than the one which is more economic. So take a look at that for yourself and think about, like, what is my contribution and how is that feeling to me? Is it giving me a sense of being on purpose? Is it lighting me up? Is it giving me lots of energy? And if it's not, then how can I kind of be tweaking my life so that I am looking for that sense of fulfillment, that sense of satisfaction, that sense of being well used, which is what happens when we are making the contribution that we're here to make. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that there's one contribution and you have to go find it. It's more about whatever it is that you're with right now that is bringing you aliveness and that is supporting you to feel like you can be fully engaged in your life. Now, this is important for everyone. Of course, it's really important for generators and manifesting generators because, we're those workhorses and we can just keep going even when we're doing stuff that we don't really want to be doing. because we have the energy to do that. So that's why I've done all these videos about generators and work, and are you doing your right work, and how are you going to determine that for yourself, and how are you going to make that a priority, and how can you move into that if you know you've been a little bit of a generator slave in other people's companies, right? But contribution, fulfillment, right work, it's important for everyone. It's important for every type. It's important for projectors and manifestors and reflectors as well. So whatever your type is, really being able to lean into a contribution that is about service, that's going to help you feel very fulfilled in your life. So we want to be able to kind of gather that up and then bring it up and see how we want to express that out into the world. And when we do that, when we get really aligned with our right work, with our service, so that we're not even thinking about it so much as work, as we're dialed into the spiritual aspect of who we are, the way that we are contributing to the world, the way that we are manifesting what we feel that we came here to do. Now, I want to say a little caveat about that, which doesn't mean that it's just like one thing or you're absolutely going to know it. You may have heard me talk about purpose as looking for the feeling of being on purpose rather than thinking, I have a purpose and I have to find it and I have to fulfill it. What you want to do is be exploring and looking for that feeling that you have in your body and your being and your energy that gives you that enthusiasm where you're like, wow, I really feel like I am doing what I came here to do. And my personal experience, but also with many people that I know is that what that is going to evolve over time. So it's not just going to be one thing. And so you want to be able to be flexible with it, right? And you want to kind of be continually leaning into your strategy and your authority to see where it's leading you to go next, because we are on a pretty fast trajectory here on planet Earth, are we not? And there's a lot of changes that are in the works and a lot of things that need to be changed, a lot of things that need to come more in alignment with spiritual truth, and move out of the greed and the scarcity and the consumerism that characterizes Western culture, certainly at this point. And so we have the opportunity here to be really breaking out of the confines of that conditioning by opening up to what the knowing circuit can bring us, what super consciousness wants to tell us. And really the only thing that you need to do is pay attention. You need to be open to it. You need to notice if you kind of dismiss things with doubt or uncertainty, or your logic wants to go, no, that can't be it. No, it's not right. Right? Because logic can kind of do that, especially when it's been conditioned with judgment, which is what, unfortunately, a lot of us have. Logic in and of itself is not dismissive like that, but it's just how the logic has gotten put together with that kind of judgment. So we want to pay attention to that and kind of put that on the side and allow ourselves to open up the horizon of possibility, because this is what the planets are bringing us right now.